Barely a week goes by these days that we're not reviewing some sort of crossover or SUV, but it's not often that we're driving one as small as this. This is the new Suzuki Ignis, and we're here in Rome to see if this mini SUV is any good.
Some of you might remember the last time Suzuki used the Ignis name, but we'd understand if you didn't. A decade ago, that badge was found on the back of a rather forgettable tall supermini that never sold in big numbers over here. Perhaps that car was ahead of its time a bit, as the new Ignis sticks to the same theme but in a smaller and more distinctive package. The Ignis sits on the same platform as the Baleno Supermini, but it's about the same size as the Celerio city car. It's not a replacement for that though. The Celerio is apparently targeted as Suzuki's rational choice in the sector, whereas this looks after the emotional side of the market. If we're honest, the Ignis isn't really an SUV in the traditional sense, but it does offer a flavour of the styling of one. The tall, narrow body, flared wheel arches and chunky front end give it presence. There's also a neat retro touch, with the sloping rear window and slits in the C-pillar harking back to Suzuki's whiz kid city car from the 1970s. The inside is a bit more conventional than the exterior, but that's not a bad thing. The two-tone dashboard adds character, while there's tons of kit on offer. Even mid-spec models get sat-nav, a rear-view camera, 16-inch alloys and a DAB radio, while step up to SZ5 trim and you'll get premium car features like LED headlamps, keyless entry and autonomous braking. The Ignis does give away its price tag in places though. The plastics do feel quite flimsy, even for a city car, and the touchscreen isn't all that slick to use.
Open up the back and you might think at first glance there's not a lot of space back here, but you can extend that. All you got to do is slide the seat bases back here, and you can even recline the backrest, and you've actually got pretty good room for two adults back here. Even with the seats slid back all the way, you get 260 litres of space back here, which is pretty good for this class of car. What you need to remember though is that top models reduce that to 204 litres because of the four-wheel drive system.
The Ignis goes on sale in the UK at the end of 2016 with 3 trim levels on offer. Prices kick off from under £10,000, with top models rising up to just £14,000. There's only 2 engine choices available, and both are versions of Suzuki's dual-jet 1.2 litre petrol engine. One is a conventional unit, the other features a 48-volt mild hybrid system to assist at low speeds and during acceleration. Both engines produce the same 89 brake horsepower, but it's the hybrid that's slightly more efficient, with a claimed 66 mpg combined.
We've got the engine here without the hybrid system, which means it lacks a bit of low-end torque and it does need revving to get the best out of it. That's not too much of a problem though, because the Suzuki is very light. It weighs from just 810 kilograms, which makes it one of the lightest cars in its class, and you can really feel that on the road.
The low weight also means it feels nimble and agile on the road, while its size and good visibility means it will squeeze through even the smallest gaps in town. It's not as sophisticated to drive out of town as the best city cars though. There's a fair bit of body roll in the bends, and the steering is slow and vague. Refinement is lacking at times too, with a fair bit of engine noise.
The downside of that low weight is that the ride can be a bit unsettled around town. It does tend to bounce and bump over some of the potholes, but that kind of adds to the fun with this car. It's about kind of nipping in and out of city streets. It's not too bad, but when you compare it to something like a VW Up or an Hyundai i10, it kind of lacks a bit of composure. We reckon Suzuki could be onto a winner with the Ignis. It's distinctive to look at, it's pretty spacious, and it's loaded with kit. It's by no means the best car in its class to drive, but in a class where character matters, this thing should fly off the shelves.
To see the Suzuki Swift Sport take on the BMW i3 in one of our track battles, click the video on the left. Or, to see something a little more SUV-like, click the video on the right for our first drive of the Jeep Renegade. Click the play icon for our latest video, and on our logo to subscribe.